Coming up on Mountain News this morning, one hospital in Lexington is offering hope as they test a possible new treatment for those who have COVID-19.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Katie Cook. It is Friday, April the 3rd, and your time is about 6:01. Let's check in with Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning. Brandon, a little bit chilly out there this morning, but definitely looking forward to the day we have ahead.
Yes, it was a beautiful day yesterday. Still a little bit on the chilly side, especially with that wind, but temperatures are going to go up today and the sunshine continues. Let's take a look and see what's going on right now outside the WYMT studios, and it is quiet this morning. Maybe, I can't tell if that's a little bit of glare on the lens or maybe just a touch of fog off in the distance. I'm going to take a peek here in a second, but I didn't see much on the way in, so not a whole lot of moisture around to create fog. Temperatures chilly though, 36 London and Williamsburg, Somerset as well, 35 in Middlesboro, pair of 34s in Monticello and Jonesville, 40s in Hazard, Jackson, Pikeville, Prestonsburg, Logan, and Wise this morning. So a little bit of patchy frost, especially in some of those areas that are a little bit colder, so a quick scrape might be needed as you head out the door this morning for those of you who are still out there working, the essential employees. And we're looking again at the afternoon forecast, taking us up to 67. Lots of sunshine, clear skies tonight. 40s in most locations. Some of those valleys again may get back into the 30s. Katie?
Thank you, Brandon. A sobering number of deaths were announced last night here in the Commonwealth. The governor reporting 11 more people have died from COVID-19. That includes a man from Pulaski County. There are 100 new cases in the Bluegrass, bringing the total to 770. Governor Beshear also says steps are being made to turn the state fairgrounds into a 2,000-bed field hospital if the need arises. Also, more travel restrictions for non-Kentuckians. They must now quarantine in the state for 14 days if they come in, and there will be no overnight stays at state parks. And again, here in Kentucky, Governor Beshear announced 100 new cases yesterday, bringing the total up to 770. 11 deaths were also reported, including one in Pulaski County, bringing Kentucky's total to 31. That's the most deaths announced in one day as Kentuckians continue to work to flatten the curve. As we show you every morning, here is a look at the counties where we know we have positive cases. As more testing is performed, the governor believes more of those counties will turn red. Unemployment claims here in Kentucky surged to more than 112,000 last week. U.S. unemployment claims have hit another record high. The Labor Department says 6.6 million unemployment claims were made last week. That brings the previous week's record 3.3 million claims. And as we mentioned earlier, we learned about the first known COVID-19 related death in the WYMT coverage area. Yesterday, our Steve Hensley talked with Pulaski County Judge Executive.
Finally, Judge, anything else you want to mention that we haven't talked about, and what would your message be to folks just over the next week or two?
Well, my message is one of optimism. I say this is a temporary storm we're in, and we will get through the storm. We'll get, just like the governor said, we'll get through it together. And when we do, I think our region and I think our country in particular is going to be set to be the leader coming out of this. So I'm encouraged by that. My message in our area and in the YMCA coverage area goes out to we're probably majority a Christian area, and I would say with Easter Sunday coming up, let's remember there is hope tomorrow, and that hope is Jesus Christ.
You can see the full interview with Judge Executive Steve Kelly on Facebook and on WYMT.com. So where do we go from here with education? That was the topic yesterday between the governor and school superintendents. The governor said he asked them to prolong the ban on in-person classes until at least May 1st. That is another 2-week extension. So far, it is unclear if the governor will make the decision to cancel the rest of the school year like some other states. School districts are trying to keep kids fed while they are at home during the coronavirus outbreak. WYMT's Madison program has more on the efforts that one school has provided nearly 600 meals a day.
I think the biggest thing This is not the typical lunchtime scene you would see at Roy G. Eversole Elementary.
Each school we have a drive-through location that you can pick up lunch and breakfast every day.
Bagging meals to make sure kids' bellies are full.
Last week we had a person that sent a picture of her refrigerator, and the only thing in it was the food that we give out here at the school.
Commissioner of Agriculture Ryan Quarles stopping by to join the effort.
We're all about food, and we want to make sure that everyone has access to that, especially when you're learning. If a kid goes home or doesn't have proper nutrition, the last thing on their mind is learning.
Whether it be chips, a ham and cheese sandwich, or an apple, it is all about putting food on the table.
This is a lifeline, and my hat is off to our food service directors and their staff across all of Kentucky's school districts, because they are the unsung heroes right now.
How you doing? Taking care of all them kids?
Serving up a little hope.
Thank you all.
In Hazard, Madison Pergram, WYMT Mountain News.
Along with their drive-through sites, Hazard Independent Schools also delivers meals on the bus routes and has bus stop locations. They will begin serving meals for the weekend starting this week. Quarles was originally supposed to be in Hazard earlier this week as the guest speaker at Civic Night, but that was postponed. In Pike County, the sheriff and his deputies are doing what they can for the community. For those most vulnerable and elderly folks, deputies will head out to get medications and essentials for you. These are pictures of Deputy Robert Oram packing up to help a family of 8 yesterday. Since COVID-19 closed all schools and daycares, many parents are finding themselves at home with their children. So how can parents keep them occupied? Model City Head Start in Pikeville turned to Facebook Live to give meal and craft ideas and stay connected with their kids. WYMT's Emily Bennett gives us a look.
Today we are going to be making a breakfast casserole.
This is Amber Hunter's new normal.
It's been definitely a learning process. I had never went live before this.
Hunter is a family advocate for Model City Head Start.
Looking good.
And she turned to Facebook Live to stay connected with her families.
We thought that being able to help them to cook a good, cost-efficient, budget-friendly meal would be a great thing, and we kind of want to use that so they'll tune in and they can see information that we need to relay to them.
Each day she cooks a meal and demonstrates a craft.
We provide these activities hoping that the parents will do them with their children so they'll have something to do and your children are not bored.
Hoping these crafts help the children continue to develop motor skills.
We don't want them to lose these skills over time by not being in school. We want them to stay ready. That way when they move on to kindergarten that they are as ready as any other child there.
Helping parents bond with their children and keep them on a schedule.
When their schedule is off, they can cause them to have anxiety and fear, and we don't want that. We're trying to stay connected, have a schedule, and help the kids get through it as best as they can.
Trying to create a new normal through this pandemic. In Pike County, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News. You can find the Facebook Lives on Model City Head Start's Facebook page. Hunter tries to do them at noon every day. People across the mountains are finding ways to lift up frontline health workers. Outside St. Joseph, London, someone put these signs outside reading "Heroes Work Here." Possibly no truer words can be spoken right now about our healthcare workers. As we head into what leaders say could be the worst couple of weeks in the COVID-19 pandemic, Baptist Health Lexington is offering a little bit of hope. They announced a possible new treatment for the virus. It uses plasma donated from a recovered COVID-19 patient to treat critically ill patients. Sunday, that treatment was used on 2 patients who were considered critically ill. It's similar to treatments used during pandemics like the Spanish flu, H1N1, and the Ebola virus.
And that basically means that we find donors who've previously been infected with COVID-19. We draw off their blood and separate out their plasma, which contains the antibodies. And then we administer it to some of these more ill patients to try to prevent the disease from progressing.
Doctors stress that this is still in the very early stages of testing, but it is still a much-needed dose of hope. Baptist Health Lexington has partnered with the Kentucky Blood Center to fast-track this process and will be working to set up a phone number that recovered patients who are interested in donating can call. At the end of last night's news conference by Governor Andy Beshear, he played a new public service announcement by Shaping Our Appalachian Region, or SOAR, and you might notice some familiar faces.
There's a lot of attention on COVID-19. That's why it's important to stay aware and not afraid.
It is important to follow the advice of local, state, and federal public health agencies.
And healthy at home.
Practice social distancing.
Just as I tell my students, wash your hands often, and if nobody's told you today, you're amazing.
Our ability to overcome this pandemic is not about any one of us,
But all of us working together.
As a part of Team Kentucky, you are not only protecting me,
You are protecting me.
And me.
We will get through this.
we will get through this.
Together.
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 Together. Together. Together.
Together.
Together.
Appalachia, Kentucky, we're in this together.
Now that PSA will be airing on WYMT.
Nice to see a lot of familiar faces represented in that across Appalachia this morning. Our forecast, chilly. Let's take a look at some of those temperatures as we head out the door. And again, it is in the 30s in most locations and getting close pretty much for most of the area. We're seeing those temperatures in the Kentucky River and Big Sandy drop. And I'd say we'll all be into the 30s here pretty soon. More sunshine today on the Emoji Cast. Sunshine and warmer tomorrow. And then still nice on Sunday, but some scattered chances for some showers. Katie?
All right, thank you, Brandon, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. Coming up, we take a look at areas outside of New York City that are seeing rapid growth on the same scale and how they are responding to the outbreak.